What's up, people of ISC and elsewhere? This is Undefeatable Twilight. Three videos in one night. Wow, I'm on a roll tonight, but I do say I can do them whenever I feel like it, so I just watched a Game Grumps video and it inspired me. So I'm going to see what Hogwarts house I would be sorted into if I were to be sorted into a Hogwarts house. If I can find the, here we are, join Pottermore. I think I already have an account, but I'm going to do it again anyway. Okay, please enter the month and year in which you were born. March 1989 is my birthday. I'm going to move my phone slightly because I'm propping it up against my laptop. Confirm. Now please enter your name, email address and password. Yes, okay. Name is Twilight Al, email address. Sorry about the typing, by the way. I know it sounds very loud on the microphone. Agree to terms and conditions. Join now. There's already an account with this email address. Darn it, I can't do the sorting, the quiz. Now what do I do? Maybe I can use a different email just for this one. Sorting. Yeah. Let's see what else I can do. I'll log in if I can remember my password. Now. Yeah, you got my password right. Yeah, I'm in Gryffindor, apparently. More about my house. Let's see what it says. You probably know that some of Gryffindor's most renowned members include Albus Dumbledore and Harry Potter, but did you know the Sword of Gryffindor was made 1,000 years ago by goblins, or that head of House Minerva McGonagall's hobbies include correcting articles in Transfiguration Today and supporting the Montrose Magpies? Famous Gryffindor characters are Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, Hermione Granger, Minerva McGonagall, Neville Longbottom, Albus Dumbledore and Peter Pettigrew. Gryffindor traits: brave, courageous, chivalrous, daring, bold, all things I'm not, so I don't know why I got sorted into this house. Tell your friends you're a brave Gryffindor, yes. Gryffindor welcome message. Congratulations, I'm Prefect Percy Weasley and I'm delighted to welcome you to Gryffindor House. Our emblem is the lion, the bravest of all creatures. I'm losing my phone again. How do I do this? There we go, upright. The bravest of all creatures, our house colours are scarlet and gold, and our common room lies up in Gryffindor Tower. This is quite simply the best house at Hogwarts. It's where the bravest and boldest end up. For instance, Albus Dumbledore. Yes, Dumbledore himself, the greatest wizard of our time, was a Gryffindor. If that's not enough for you, I don't know what is. I won't keep you long, as all you need to do to find out more about your house is to follow Harry Potter and his friends as I lead them up to their dormitories. Enjoy your time at Hogwarts, but how could you fail to? You've become part of the best house in the school. Great, thanks Percy. Let's have a look at my wand. I don't remember I got a wand yet. I think I did. Yeah, my wand is Ashwood, Unicorn Hair Core, 9 3/4 inches in length and solid flexibility. The Ash wand cleaves to its one true master, not to be passed on or gifted from the original owner because it will lose power and skill, so you don't get my wand. This tendency is extreme if the core is of unicorn. Old superstitions regarding wands rarely bear close examination, but I find that the old rhyme regarding rowan, chestnut, ash, and hazel wands, rowan gossips, chestnut drones, ash is stubborn, hazel moans, contains a small nugget of truth. Those witches and wizards best suited to ash wands are not, in my experience, lightly swayed from their beliefs or purposes. However, the brash or overconfident witch or wizard, who often insists on trying wands of this prestigious wood, will be disappointed by its effects. The ideal owner may be stubborn, and will certainly be courageous, but never crass or arrogant. Okay then. Unicorn hair generally produces the most consistent magic and is least subject to fluctuations and blockages. Wands with unicorn cores are generally the most difficult to turn to the dark arts. They are the most faithful of all wands and usually remain strongly attached to their first owner, irrespective of whether he or she was an accomplished witch or wizard. Okay, that's good. Minor disadvantages of unicorn hair are that they do not make the most powerful wands, although the wand wood may compensate, and that they are prone to melancholy if seriously mishandled, meaning that the hair may die and need replacing. So I need to be careful with my wand then. 9 3/4 inches in length. The following notes on wand length are taken from notes on the subject by Mr. Garrick Ollivander, wandmaker. Most wands will be in the range of between 9 and 14 inches, while I have sold extremely short wands, 8 inches and under, and very long wands, over 15 inches. These are exceptionally rare. In the latter case, a physical peculiarity demanded the excessive wand length. However, abnormally short ones usually select those in whose character something is lacking, rather than because they are physically undersized. Many small witches and wizards are chosen by longer wands. So mine is slightly on the low side of average length, I guess. Solid flexibility. Wand flexibility or rigidity denotes the degree of adaptability and willingness to change possessed by the wand and owner pair, although again this factor ought not to be considered separately from the wand wood, core and length, nor of the owner's life experience and style of magic, all of which will combine to make the wand in question unique. There we go. How about my patronus? What's my patronus again? I can't remember. Oh, it's a beagle. It's a dog. I got a dog patronus. I'm so disappointed in myself. Yeah. First charm. The patronus is the most famous and famously difficult defensive charm. The aim is to produce a silvery white guardian or protector, which takes the form of an animal. The exact form of the patronus will not be apparent until the spell has been successfully cast. One of the most powerful defensive charms known to wizardkind, the patronus can also be used as a messenger between wizards. As a pure protective magical concentration of happiness and hope, the recollection of a single talisman memory is essential in its creation. It is the only spell effective against dementors. The majority of witches and wizards are unable to produce patronuses, and to do so is generally considered a mark of superior magical ability. Cool. What else have we got? My books. That's just... I can buy the Harry Potter books. I already have them though. Fun fact, after I finish the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series, I might do Harry Potter next. I might. It's an option. What else can I do here? I haven't looked at Pottermore in a long time. Explore the story. Characters, locations, creatures, spells and charms, magical objects. Because this used to be like an interactive game website kind of thing where you could solve puzzles and play games and stuff, but now it just seems to be like a Harry Potter, like the official Harry Potter site for things about Harry Potter. Exploring the Potter family etymology. This sounds interesting. Sadly, we didn't meet much of Harry's family in the books, but the etymology behind the Potter family names makes for fascinating reading. Harry Potter. The whole charm of Harry is that he was an extraordinary wizard with a very ordinary name, but if you look a little deeper, Harry's name is rooted in ideas of leadership and war. With everything Harry had to endure, this certainly fits, and the name means something similar in different languages. In Norse it means war chief, well he was a founder of Dumbledore's army, and in English it means protector, typically in relation to home. And what did Harry find himself defending so often? Hogwarts, of course, the place he knew as home more than anywhere else. James Potter. Harry's father was a pretty complicated guy, and his name originates from the Latin for supplant or replace. Thinking about this, James could be seen as Snape's replacement because he became Lily's closest friend and later husband and father of her child. After all, if Snape had not made friends with the people he did at Hogwarts, maybe he and Lily might have ended up together. Or maybe not. Maybe James is just a very common name, the name of many kings and 2 apostles. James Potter certainly had certain leadership qualities. As for Potter, Potter means, yes, you've guessed it, someone who made pottery, but Harry's particular surname is descended from his ancestor, an old wizard nicknamed the Potterer. His full name was Linford of Stinchcombe, but his nickname was what he was known for, and through time it got reduced to Potter. The Potterer was considered to be the creator of multiple potions that went on to be heavily used in the wizarding world Harry knew. He even used Skelligro to mend his broken arm. Lily Potter. A very literal reading of Lily's name is that she was elegant, pretty, and pure like the flower, and with what we know of her this sort of fits. Lily was the object of James's desire, Snape's friendship, and Petunia's anger for all of the above reasons. We love discovering little connections, and there's definitely something in Lily and Severus's names. Lilies are a very beautiful flower when cut, and Severus is only 2 letters off sever. And which particular relationship did Severus sever? Petunia and Lily's, after the latter found so much in common with her magical new friend. The more you know. Fleamont Potter. Harry's grandfather on his dad's side certainly wins the prize for weirdest Potter family name. It was his first name that got him into all manner of fights during his time at Hogwarts, and Fleamont was fighting to protect its honour. He was called Fleamont because of his own grandmother, so Harry's great-great-grandmother, who insisted he continue her family name. Fleamont earned his wealth by cooking up Sleek Easy's hair potion, a very popular wizarding beauty product. As for Fleamont's name, it's difficult to find a meaning in such an unusual name, but mont is French for mountain, and flea is obviously the bug, with origins in the Latin word fleon, meaning to flee. So, to flee mountain? We're not too sure about this one, but it's still a great name. Euphemia Potter. The name Euphemia originates from the Greek language, with eu meaning good and phemia meaning to speak, therefore well-spoken. In history, Euphemia was a saint, but her name was supposed to be interpreted as well-spoken of, so as an ancient figure, Euphemia was praised after death, rather than her just being really nice to chat to. In the Potter family, Euphemia was Fleamont's wife, so she was Harry's paternal grandmother, and for a long time she and Fleamont tried to have kids. Eventually, however, she gave birth to James Potter, and if she hadn't, things could have ended up very differently for the wizarding world. Maybe Voldemort's prophecy would have still taken place, and Neville would have had to deal with everything instead. Henry Potter. Harry's father's own granddad, Henry Potter, was known to the people around him as Harry. Yes, Harry was not the first Harry Potter, and owing to Henry's own fascinating past, the pair were similar in many ways. Henry was a high-ranking wizard on the Wizengamot, having entered politics much like his great-grandson would do later in life, and was best known for controversially speaking out against the then-current Minister for Magic, Archer Evermond. Looking at the parallels, Harry himself wasn't exactly fond of Cornelius Fudge when he held office. The name Henry is, like Harry, associated with power, deriving from Germanic roots. Heim means home, and Rig is power or ruler, so Henry was a home ruler. With a history and spirit so alike, this makes total sense. James Sirius Potter, Albus Severus Potter, and Lily Luna Potter. Well, these all seem fairly familiar. Harry and Ginny's kids each have names we've seen before, honouring the legacy of great people that have come before them, and it's a very sweet gesture by their parents. James is obviously named after Harry's father, and Sirius after Harry's godfather. Then there's Albus, who took Dumbledore and Snape's forenames, and both boys resembled their namesakes in different ways. James inherited his grandfather's confidence and cheeky spirit, and his teasing relationship with his much more introverted brother was similar to James and Severus's. Lily, on the other hand, was very similar to her mother, a bit more reserved and watchful of her brothers due to her young age. Her bright red hair was also something she shared with her namesake and grandmother Lily and her mum Ginny. And that's it. There's more. The fascinating etymology behind Harry Potter character names. This could be interesting. The wizarding community are already a magical lot, but there's also plenty of underlying magic behind their names. In fact, the etymology of certain characters' names can reveal more about them than you ever thought you knew. Harry Potter, again. The joy of Harry Potter's name was that it seemed like one so delightfully ordinary for someone who achieved so much, but when we dig a little deeper, it seems to be a very fitting name for the boy who lived. The name Harry is the Middle English form of the name Henry, a name which was favoured by many an English king. Leadership runs deep in Harry's name, as well as the motif of war, which Harry is sadly very familiar with. Harry is also related to the old High German word Heri, which means army. As one of the founders of Dumbledore's army, this seems apt. Albus Dumbledore. You may know already that Dumbledore is an archaic word for bumblebee, which is rather sweet. Albus appropriately means white, just like the Professor's famous beard. But let's not forget about his many middle names, which go far deeper into Dumbledore's more complex characteristics. Percival suggests a history of battle, as Percival was one of the legendary knights in King Arthur's court. Wulfric, oddly enough, means wolf power, although we're pretty sure Albus didn't have any lycanthropy skills. As for Brian, that is an old Celtic word meaning noble, which Albus very much was. Rubeus Hagrid. Hagrid's name may be derived from the term hagridden, which means worried. Hagrid is often hagridden for the safety of Harry, after all. Rubeus may come from the Latin rubeo, which means I am red or ruddy, and if you notice in the books, this is exactly what happens when the Professor partakes in a glass of wine. Draco Malfoy. By no means a dramatic coincidence, Draco's first name was Latin for a terrifying beast that spits fire, or more specifically, a dragon. You may have noticed that Draco's name is also part of the Hogwarts school motto, Draco dormiens nunquam titilandus, which means never tickle a sleeping dragon. We would definitely apply this same logic to Draco too. As for his beloved last name, you might think Malfoy means rich, blonde, and probably quite rude. Well, not quite, but the term mal actually derives from Old French, usually means bad or evil, and foi means faith or trust. How interesting. Tom Marvolo Riddle. We already know that Tom Marvolo Riddle's name is soaked in a lot of personal meanings for the character. Tom was always aggrieved to use his filthy muggle father's name, as he put it, so devised a new name for his future self, Lord Voldemort. The name that Tom avoided so much has been around since the 1700s, and is one of the most popular names in history. Incidentally, both his and Harry's name of course feature in the phrase every Tom, Dick or Harry. Tom usually is defined to mean the male version of something, such as Tomcat. Marvolo isn't a traditional name, and comes from Tom's pureblood wizard, grandfather Marvolo Gaunt. As for Riddle, the word as we know it defines to something that puzzles or perplexes, which is certainly true for Tom Riddle, but back in the 1800s was a Middle English term to mean perforated with many holes, much like when Harry stabbed his diary in Chamber of Secrets, you might say. Hermione Granger. Hands up if you had been pronouncing Hermione's name wrong when you first started reading the books. Yep, thought so. Complex pronunciations aside, Hermione is a name rich in mythological value, as in Greek mythology, Hermione was the daughter of King Menelaus of Sparta and his wife Helen of Troy. Meanwhile, Granger, according to the Middle English definition, was amusingly an occupational term for bailiff, which, considering how much Hermione Granger has to tell off Ron and Harry, is rather fitting. Remus Lupin. The origins behind the name of this earnest marauder could not be more apt. First of all, we have Remus, which is a name known quite well from the Roman myth Romulus and Remus, the tale of the twin brothers who were abandoned at birth, brought up by a she-wolf, and went on to found Rome. Then there is Lupin, derived from the Latin lupinus, which means, drumroll, of a wolf. As such, it would seem that Remus Lupin's fate was always locked within his name. And that's it. That's all they have to say. What else is there? I still want to read more. I'm just exploring. You know, this is what I do on my channel. I just do random things. You can hang out with me. It's like, I like it to be like a casual sort of thing. It's not really scripted or edited or really have anything done to it at all. It's just like a casual, like, hanging out and having fun. At least I hope it's fun. Ooh, here's a question, a quiz rather. How well do you know Dobby the house elf? Probably not that well. There's a lot to know and love about everyone's favourite elf. Try our quiz to commemorate Harry Potter's loyal friend. Are you Dobby's biggest fan, or do you need to pull your socks up? There's only one way to find out. No, how well do you know our favourite house elf? No offence, creature. Start. Oh, this isn't timed. Which animal were Dobby's ears said to be like? A rabbit, a cat, a mouse, a bat. A bat. Correct. Big anyway to advance. Doesn't say anymore. Okay, good. Oops. Which family was Dobby originally bound to serve? The Blacks, the Bones, the Weasleys, the Malfoys, the Malfoys. What item of clothing grants Dobby his freedom? An old hat, a slimy sock, a dirty bow tie, or a broken shoe? It was a sock. What did Dobby use the room of requirement for? A bathroom, as a place for Winky the house elf to sleep off drinking butterbeer, a break room to have a cup of tea, or an extra cleaning cupboard. It was a place for Winky to sleep off the butterbeer. What item of clothing does Ron give to... oh god, I don't remember this part. It's Ron give to Dobby a new hat, dress robes, a maroon-coloured woolly... oh, I do remember this. A maroon-coloured woolly jumper or a Gryffindor scarf. It was the jumper because he got it from his mum and he didn't want it, so he gave it to Dobby instead. Which other house elf did Dobby take with him to find work at Hogwarts? Hokey, Winky, Creature, or Helga? Well, it was Winky. You already said that. What colour were Dobby's big tennis ball-shaped eyes? Blue, green, hazel, or brown? I don't remember. I want to say either hazel or brown, but it could be the other two as well, because I honestly don't remember. I'm going to go with blue. It's probably not right. No, it's green. Okay. What did Dobby wear when he first met Harry Potter? A filthy sock, a tea towel, a woolly jumper, or an old pillowcase? I think it was... if it couldn't have been a sock, because if you give clothes to a house elf, then it means you're setting them free. So it's got to be either a tea towel or an old pillowcase. I think it was an old pillowcase. Yes, correct. What did Dobby destroy at the Dursleys' house to get Harry into trouble? Dudley's television, an entire set of dinner plates, the pudding Aunt Petunia made, or Uncle Vernon's new company car? It was the pudding. He dropped it on someone's head, I can't remember whose. Why was Dobby the only house elf who cleaned Gryffindor Tower in the 5th year? The others were insulted by Hermione hiding clothes everywhere. He didn't trust anyone else to do it properly. The others were too afraid to after Sirius Black broke in the year before, or he didn't trust the others to be around Harry Potter. Sirius Black broke in the 3rd year, didn't he? But it was because of Hermione hiding clothes everywhere, because of her SPEW scheme. What did Dobby wear when he first started work at Hogwarts? Flip-flops, matching socks, a child's football shorts, a tea cosy, a tie with a horseshoe pattern, or odd gloves? Matching socks. And a tea cosy. I think he wore... did he wear more than that? I seem to remember he wore a lot of clothes, because he kind of likes clothes. But I think that was it. I think it's matching socks and a tea cosy. Oh, no, it's just it was a child's football shorts, a tea cosy, and a tie with a horseshoe pattern. That was what it was. How did Dobby find out about the gillyweed Harry needed to use at the Triwizard Tournament? He saw Cedric Diggory reading a book about it in the library. He heard Professor McGonagall and Professor Moody talking about it in the staff room. He heard Neville Longbottom and Professor Sprout talking about it in the greenhouses. He saw Neville Longbottom reading a book about it in the common room. I think he saw Cedric reading a book about it. No. He heard Professor McGonagall and Professor Moody talking about it in the staff room. Okay. I don't remember everything. Name all the ways Dobby tried to protect Harry during Chamber of Secrets. Sabotaging his potions lessons, no. Enchanting a bludger that broke Harry's arm, yes. Closing the gateway to platform 9 3/4, yes. Kidnapping Hedwig, no. Intercepting his letters, yes. And trying to get him expelled for using magic outside of school, yes. Yep, all of those were correct. How many times a day did Dobby say he got death threats from his masters? 10, 20, 3, or 5? Probably 20. Nope, it was 5. Okay, I went way too far. How long was Dobby travelling the country trying to find work after being freed from his original family? 3 years, 6 months, 8 weeks, or 2 years? Well, he was freed in Chamber of Secrets at the end of Year 2, and then he got work at Hogwarts in Year 5, so there would be a 2-year gap, so 2 years. Yes. What were Dobby's wages at Hogwarts? He didn't take wages at Hogwarts. A galleon a week and 1 day off a month, 5 galleons a week and Sundays off, or 10 galleons a week and weekends off. I think it was a galleon a week and 1 day off a month. Yes, correct. What colour were the socks Dobby made Harry for Christmas? 1 green with a pattern of broomsticks and 1 red with a pattern of snitches, 1 gold with a pattern of lions and 1 red with a pattern of swords, 1 red with a pattern of Christmas trees and 1 green with a pattern of Hogwarts crests, or 1 red with a pattern of broomsticks and 1 green with a pattern of snitches. I think it was green with broomsticks and red with snitches. No, it was the other way around. It was red with broomsticks and green with snitches. Who did Dobby... Select all that apply. Who did Dobby disapparate with out of Malfoy Manor? Mr. Ollivander, Dean Thomas, Seamus Finnegan, Luna Lovegood, and Neville Longbottom. I don't remember when this happened. This might be in Deathly Hallows, which I haven't got around to reading yet. I'm going to guess Luna and Neville. No, it was Mr. Ollivander, Dean Thomas, and Luna Lovegood. What was Dobby's name for Ron? Wheezy, Weasel, Won-Won, or Woozy? Weasel, I think. No, it was Wheezy. Okay. Where was Dobby buried? Shell Cottage, Beach Cottage, Lavender Cottage, or Sea Cottage? I don't know, I don't remember. I haven't read Deathly Hallows, I've only seen the movie once. Lavender Cottage. No, Shell Cottage. What did Dobby's Christmas banner say? Harry Christmas and a Potty New Year, deck the balls with boughs of Harry, have a very Potter Christmas, or have a very Harry Christmas. It was have a very Harry Christmas. How did Dobby wake Harry up on the night his bones were regrowing? Adjusting the blanket, plumping the pillows, sponging Harry's forehead, or checking Harry's temperature? I don't remember. I remember him waking him up in the 4th book by poking him with a broomstick, but I don't remember how he did it this time. Probably adjusting the blanket. No, it was sponging Harry's forehead. Damn, that was my first guess. What did Dobby say was the house elf's name for the room of requirement? The come and stay room, the stop and go room, the stop and stay room, or the come and go room? It was the come and go room. How did Dobby punish himself for stopping Harry getting the Hogwarts Express? He burned his ears in the oven, he ironed his hands, he hit his head against the wall, or he kicked himself. Well, he did all of those things, but at various points in the book, but I don't remember which one he did. He told Harry, but that was the one he told Harry about later, rather than something that Harry saw him do in front of him. I think he ironed his hands. Yes, correct. How did Fred describe Dobby's painting of Harry? Like a molting hippogriff, like a cat with a missing ear, like a banshee with a migraine, or like a gibbon with 2 black eyes? It was like a gibbon with 2 black eyes. How long did Dobby stay awake when he tailed Draco Malfoy? 2 days, 3 days, 2 weeks, or a week? I don't know. This is Deathly Hallows again, I think. A week? Yes, correct. Yay, got it right. How did Dobby distract the Death Eaters at Malfoy Manor? Setting the curtains on fire, levitating the furniture, dropping the chandelier, or smashing the windows? I think it was dropping the chandelier. I think I remember this from the movie. Yes, correct. Which flowers did Luna Lovegood place at Dobby's grave? Yellow poppies, cornflower, pansies, or sea lavender? I have no idea. I don't remember this part. Pansies? Nope. It was sea lavender. Again, that was I should go with my instinct. Who sent Dobby to rescue Harry, Ron, and Hermione from Malfoy Manor? Aberforth Dumbledore, Bill Weasley, Albus Dumbledore, or Remus Lupin? Probably Dumbledore, considering that... Oh no, apparently it was Aberforth Dumbledore. I was thinking it was Albus because Dobby was employed at Hogwarts, so technically Albus Dumbledore was his employer. Where did Harry, Ron, and Hermione go to buy Dobby the most lurid socks they could find? Twilfit and Tattings, Madame Malkin's robes for all occasions, Weasley's Wizard Wheezes, or Gladrag's Wizard Wear? Crap, I don't actually remember this. Weasley's Wizard Wheezes? No, it was Gladrag's Wizard Wear. I got 60%, an elfy result. You're not a Dobby expert, but you're certainly an elf enthusiast. We recommend a rigorous reread of every single Dobby scene in the Harry Potter books. Fancy more quizzing? Of course I do, I love quizzing. This is a really long video, but whatever. Try our Severus Snape quiz next. Ooh. I'm going to do so well on this. Our favourite Surly Potions professor was a man of many mysteries. Take our new quiz to see how many you know. We didn't find out who Severus Snape truly was until right at the end of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, of course, but now you have no excuses. Snape's thought might have been potions, but we want to know how much you know about the man who taught potions himself. Off you go, and be warned, we may deal out Snape-style punishments for the worst results. Ooh. How well do you know Severus Snape? Let's find out. In the books, where did we see Severus Snape for the first time? In the Great Hall, in Dumbledore's office, in a Hogwarts corridor, or in his potions classroom? It was in the Great Hall, because he was with the other teachers, wasn't he? Yes, correct. Snape's nose is said to be like a button, bulbous growth, Roman's nose, or hook. A hook. He has a hook nose. Where did Snape grow up as a child? Laburnum Gardens, Spinner's End, Little Hangleton, or McGregor Farm? I don't freaking know. Spinner's End. Oh yeah, you got it right. Wow. Which of Snape's parents was a Muggle? His mum or his dad? Again, I have no idea. His mum? No, his dad. Okay. What spell did Snape indirectly teach Harry during Dueling Club? Expelliarmus, Sectum Sempra, Petrificus Totalis, or Stupefy? Sectum Sempra was the one that Harry found out by reading Snape's diary. So he did indirectly teach him that, but not during Dueling Club. And the point of the thing was to learn Expelliarmus. That was the entire lesson they were taking. But I think it was that because he demonstrated it on Lockhart. So Expelliarmus, yes. What was the Marauder's brutal nickname for Snape? Slipperiness, Snottiness, Snivelus, or Snootiness? It was Snivelus. Which student had their boggart turn into Professor Snape? Neville, Seamus, Harry, or Hermione? It was Neville. What did Snape once cruelly call Hermione? An insufferable know-it-all, a big-toothed clever-clogs, an annoying smarty-pants, or an intolerable goody-two-shoes? It was an insufferable know-it-all. What is the first line Snape utters in a Harry Potter book? You are here to learn the subtle science and exact art of potion making. I can teach you how to bottle fame. Ah yes, Harry Potter, our new celebrity. Or settle down, settle down. He said all of those things, but in which order? I think the first thing he said was, you are here to learn the subtle science and exact art of potion making. No, it was Harry. Ah yes, Harry Potter, our new celebrity. I swear he said something before that. Which pet did Snape once test a potion out on in class? Crookshanks, Pigwidgeon, Hedwig, or Trevor? I believe it was Trevor. Yes. Which of these magical skills was Snape known to be particularly gifted at? The Cruciatus Curse, Parseltongue, Divination, or Legitimacy? It was Legitimacy because that's what he taught Harry. What was the first potion that Snape taught Harry's class to make? Shrinking Solution, the Draught of Peace, a potion to cure boils, or Swelling Solution? It was the Draught of Peace. They didn't actually... Oh, wait, what? No, it was a potion to cure boils. Well, he kind of taught them how to make the Draught of Peace because he told them the recipe for it, at least, but they didn't actually make it. In Harry's strange dream on his first night at Hogwarts, which character turned into Snape? Draco Malfoy, Albus Dumbledore, Professor Quirrell, or Rubeus Hagrid? I think it was Quirrell. No, it was Malfoy. Okay, yeah. Which textbook did Snape confiscate from Harry and Philosopher's Stone when he was looking for a reason to tell them off? A History of Magic, A Beginner's Guide to Transfiguration, Quidditch Through the Ages, or Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them? Quidditch Through the Ages, probably. I know Harry liked to read that. Yep. In the chapter The Prince's Tale, what is the first thing we saw Snape say to a young Lily? I know what you are. You're a witch. It's obvious, isn't it? Or I've been watching you for a while. I don't remember, so I'm going to say I've been watching you for a while. Nope, it was it's obvious, isn't it? What was the first name of Snape's father? I don't know. Silas, Artemis, Zacharias, or Tobias? I'm going to go with Silas because of the alliteration. Nope, it was Tobias. Okay. What obvious thing did Harry say about ghosts that Snape mocked him for? They float, they are dead, you can walk through them, or they are transparent. Oh god. I don't remember this at all. I think it was they are transparent. Yes. Which of these essay subjects, select all that apply, which of these essay subjects did Snape set Harry's class during his time at Hogwarts? The use of moonstones, probably not. Truth potions, no. The properties of Bezoars, Dementors, werewolves, undetectable poisons. I think it was the latter three, because they were the important things. Dementors, werewolves, and undetectable poisons. Yes. Oh, no. I missed the use of moonstones. That was one of them as well. But the others were correct that I picked. Which of these Snape-themed chapter titles is not real? Snape's Biggest Lie, The Sacking of Severus Snape, Snape's Worst Memory, Snape Victorious. I know Snape's Worst Memory is definitely one. I remember that one. That's when Harry accidentally reads Snape's memories in Legitimacy class. Snape's Biggest Lie probably is one, I'm going to say. He told a lot of lies. The Sacking of Severus Snape, he was sacked. I do remember that, so I'm going to go with Snape Victorious. No, it was actually Snape's Biggest Lie. Well, which of these derogatory which of these derogatory names has Snape never been called in the Harry Potter books? Slimeball, Ugly Git, Two-Faced Creep, or Overgrown Bat? He was called Slimeball, definitely a lot of the time. Ron called him an ugly git, and the narration said that he hovered around like an overgrown bat, so I'm going to go with Two-Faced Creep. Yes. What year was Snape born? Ooh. 1960, 1975, 1951, or 1959? 60? Yes, wow, I got it right. How is Snape's handwriting described during his owl exam as seen through the pensive? Scruffy and shambolic, minuscule and cramped, small and neat, or sharp and jagged? I think it was minuscule and cramped. Yes. In Snape's potions puzzle that protected the Philosopher's Stone, how many bottles were nettle wine? None, 2, 3, or 1? God, this has been so long. There's one. It was one of them. One of them was the right one, of course. One of them sends you back the way you came. And some of them were poison, and some were nettle wine. I think 2. Yes, 2 of them were nettle wine. What ingredient did Harry forget to add to his draught of peace, much to Snape's enjoyment? Essence of dittany, powdered moonstone, a dash of leech juice, or syrup of hellebore? I don't know, I don't remember. Sheesh. Syrup of hellebore? Oh, yeah, I got it right. Wow. What was Ron's punishment by Snape for defending Hermione in Prisoner of Azkaban? To clean the trophy room without magic, to scour every cauldron in the potions classroom without magic, to scrub the hospital wing bedpans without magic, or to wash every toilet in Hogwarts without magic? I think it was to scrub the hospital wing bedpans. Yeah. During detention with Snape, Harry was tasked with clearing out old records of student punishments. What box number did Snape ask him to start at? 1012, 5095, 394, or 214? 2014, sorry. Turn to page 394. Yes, that was when that happened. I don't remember what the box number he was asked to start at was, though. 1012. Wow, I got it right again. I'm so good. Accidentally. While making up fake dreams for his divination homework, what did Harry say he'd done to Snape? Poured his potion over Snape's head, drowned Snape in his cauldron, cursed Snape in a duel, mashed up scarab beetles that had Snape's face. I think it was drowned him in his cauldron, yeah. Whereabouts on Spinner's End was Snape's old family house? The very first house, the very last house, the third house, or the middle house? I don't know, the middle? Nope, it was the very last house. Okay. Which of the following did Snape call Harry? Rule-breaking celebrity, pint-sized celebrity, scar-headed celebrity, or scruffy-haired celebrity? Pint-sized? Yes. What did Snape throw at Harry in a fury when he caught him watching his old childhood memory? A jar of porcupine quills, a jar of lacewing flies, a jar of toadwarts, or a jar of dead cockroaches? I think it was lacewing flies. Nope, it was dead cockroaches. Okay. 66%. Cleverest Snape. You know Snape well, but just like Harry, you don't know him as well as you thought. There is more work to be done before you completely understand the mysterious potions master. Okay, my voice is starting to hurt now, and this video has gone on for way too long, so I'm going to go see. Thank you all for watching and putting up with me for so long. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and if you are subscribed, be sure to ding the notification bell so you know when I make a new video, because I can do that whenever I feel like it. Take care of yourselves and each other. Love and peace.